What's going on, beautiful people of the internet? Fearless Master M here, aka the one and only, aka Mr. Get to the Bag. And I'd like to welcome everybody to the 10th episode of the Curse Speech Podcast. We are the Outspoken Gamers, and today we're here to get another win on episode 10. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/curse speech, I just wanted to enlighten you that this show is available on Apple, Spotify, and all of the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to rate us 5 stars so we can get that nice little bump into the algorithm. But with all of that out the way, let me go ahead and introduce today's co-host. Today, I have with me a family favorite and a local third place winner. Symbiotic, go ahead and say some words to the people.
Dang, third? Yeah, I did get third. I can't be mad. But, I'm always happy to be here. Happy to talk with you guys. So, always happy to talk to my friends and the audience. Happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
And we love to see it. And then next up, we got Court, the man with a recent gym obsession. Go ahead and say some words to the people.
Shit up. Okay, listen. Hello, everybody. By the way, I've been slacking, so don't tell the people I'll be in the gym, because then it's gonna be a lie that looking stupid.
Hey,
I'm going
man.
back though. I'm gonna go back. We finna hit it. We finna go back and we gonna get active. But yeah, glad to be here. Happy to be here.
Major upset. He don't be hitting the gym like he say he do. I'm kidding. I haven't been in the gym either. We're gonna get into it though. We're gonna get these summer bodies right for the winter. You feel me? This week has been these last couple weeks actually have been pretty busy for news, at least pretty news heavy. So I don't even know where to start, fellas. I don't even know where to start. We could start with Miles Morales, or we could start with the recent gaming news that's been coming out. Where y'all want to start?
You might as well start with Miles Morales, because that's the thing. Well, you said Miles Morales. You mean Spider-Man 2?
Hey, man.
Hey, I call it Miles Morales too.
Spider-Man Miles Morales 2. It's got both of them in it.
That is true. All right, let's go ahead and slide on this movie review real quick, man. We're gonna knock this one out. So, and this will be its own separate video. So we went to go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and we're just gonna give like this little quick review, bro. Honestly, 10 out of 10. We'll see it again, bro. I done watched that movie like 2 times. I'm finna go see it a third.
I was about to say, you finna chalk up your third time looking at it.
Hey, man.
But this time, because I'm going to see it again too, this time I'll be able to hear. Because last time, when I first saw the movie, I didn't know what they were saying. Like, whenever like some action was happening, I was like, I can't hear them. I can't hear them at all. But I heard they fixed the audio. So this time, hopefully, I'll be able to hear, because I feel like me seeing it again, but actually being able to hear it will probably make it. I already thought the movie was good. It's probably gonna make it an even better movie, because I'll be able to, hear some dialogue that I missed, which was a lot. But
definitely missed I definitely missed a bunch of stuff that first watch through. This is because you're so immersed in it, bro. It's I don't know, man. And that audio wasn't exactly Mr. Best, especially when Hobie Brown. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a spoiler one.
Yeah,
I love Hobie.
Spoiler alert, y'all.
As soon as he was introduced, bro, I couldn't hear nothing he was saying.
It's because the audio was bad and he was British. So I was like, I don't know what he's saying at all.
Yeah, it definitely did not help that he had a heavy British accent, which makes sense. I mean, but whatever. But yeah, bro, I couldn't. That first watch through, it was fantastic. Still a 10 out of 10. It's just that audio.
Honestly, I was thinking about getting somebody and being like, hey, can y'all fix the audio on it? I would have been looking stupid. They were like, shoot, we can't do nothing about that. That's the thing. That's the copy they gave us. That's what they gave us to play.
But yeah.
So, I would have been looking stupid back there telling them, can you fix the audio?
But all right,
so be like, sure, shake the movie and put it back.
Start shaking the projector. Start banging on it.
There you go.
Also, So who didn't know Hobby was black?
I didn't know. I didn't know. I remember y'all mentioned it to me like a while ago when we were playing the Spider-Man game, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and because he had, I think it was the first Spider-Man game where he had the Spider-Punk outfit, and he was like, "Yeah, nah, there's a black Spider-Man named Hobie," and I did not remember that until he popped up in this movie.
Man.
And I'm like, oh yeah,
like it was genuinely funny seeing people on Twitter and stuff being shook that he was black because they didn't know. Until he took the mask off, they said, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Nah, Hobie was sliding for sure. But so we're gonna start this review with now I mean like usually got the impulse thoughts out the way. Start this review by going from like beginning to middle to end. Beginning was kind of slow, not gonna lie. I was pretty much waiting on like, all right, I like the Gwen introduction or whatever. I'm like, when we gonna get into
I
it?
really like that soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack is nice. I was like, when we gonna really get into it? Because you know, the original trailer, the first one that was ever dropped for the movie was when Gwen was standing over him in his bed,
right? And
she was like on the other side of the portal. I'm like, okay, so we got to get to that from where we are right now, and I'm real hyped for that. But I don't know, it was a slow introduction to kind of like get engrossed into the movie. But once you get into like the what is it, the museum scenes, I'm like, okay, yeah, nah, I'm fully invested in Gwen's story now. And we started picking up more and more from there. Her father, like, so she's having this whole
the right to remain
silent, man.
Oh my god,
man.
No, that's kind of crazy. Like, your own kid, like
your own kid. But I guess like his thought process was this person may or may not have murdered someone, and I'm a cop above all things. And it's kind of like I could see, I guess I could see somebody being like, you know, man, this is too much for me. So you just resort back to cop mode or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I get it, but that's still crazy though. You have the right to remain silent.
Crazy. Nah. Yeah, your brain is going crazy as a father. You just like, I can't cope. Get in the back of the car.
So that's the first major climb. Like that's the first major peak of the movie. Also, wait. My bad. Let's take a couple steps back. Miguel's entrance. Lit.
Oh yeah. Theme
song, outfit, introduction. Even though we don't get to see that cape again, I was a real big fan of the cape. A little mad about that, but whatever.
Does he have a cape in his original costume?
I actually have no idea. I'm not that big.
Because I feel like when I seen him like in the animated stuff, I thought, or the comic, I thought he didn't have a cape, but I may be mistaken.
I got you.
I don't know.
Yeah, no clue.
Honestly, my thoughts on him. Okay, so the end of the like how the movie ends makes sense. Like the beginning makes more sense, cause for people who've seen the movie, and I'm assuming if we gave you the spoiler alert, this is a part one. There's gonna be a second part to this movie. It makes more sense why the beginning was filled with so much character development.
Yeah,
because it was like the story ain't gonna conclude in this movie, so we got time to, you know, focus on other characters, give them a little backstory, give them a little more depth, because you know this ain't ended here. This is a whole other movie length of stuff involving.
I'm Miles Morales.
Damn me. What was I finna do? Oh yeah. So back to Miguel's introduction. Anybody else feel some type of way about how he just slid on the screen how he did? Cause I felt something tingle. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you was talking about when he was slowly coming down like the stairs.
When he just like slid past her face, bro.
Oh, okay, the real
like at the beginning, we starting from the beginning. I want to go through like sections. So, his introduction was fire. She meets Spider-Woman who's pregnant, and I ain't really noticed this until like the second watch through. The reason why she instantly becomes enamored is because she doesn't have a mother, and I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's like, oh, you have the same powers as me. Oh, you can do all this while you're pregnant. It's like, I never had a mother figure, and here you go right here. Because at first I was like, why is she so like clingy to this woman that she just met? But
she literally asked her when she saw her. She's like, "Can you adopt me?"
Yeah.
like straight up.
I'm like, yeah, she was cool and all, but I didn't like fully get it. But yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, I mean
that makes a lot more sense.
So
she was feeling them Black Mama vibes.
Yeah, I'm them Black Mama vibes. And the animation, bro, the animation goes so crazy. I do we even need to talk about the animation just because?
One thing I noticed about the animation, I thought to myself while I was watching this, you can pause it at any frame in the movie. It is straight. It looked like a poster.
Yeah.
Like you can pause it at any frame, and it just looks like an image you would save and put on your your screensaver.
Yeah.
And I thought that was crazy.
So fantastic, bro. All right, so we get through the first little part, hands up, and then Gwen walks through the portal, and then after that, she doesn't walk through the portal; it just cuts before she walks through, and then we get straight into the big news. You feel me? We hear the hip hop. We know what's going on. Let's be honest. God. Let's be honest. We know what we really here for.
That hippity hop. Next.
So, the second part of the intro kicks off with our boy Miles Morales. He doing his thing, swinging through the city, being the hero he's supposed to be. And he's late. He's late for a interview. He's doing. I forgot what he was doing before this. Was he fighting Spot yet?
He was fighting the Spot.
Okay, so yeah, he was fighting.
He was
fighting level 1 Spot.
Yeah, he was on his way there. He would have been on time, but the Spot started robbing
into the ATM. Yeah,
and I ain't gonna fake it to you. It was, he was proven to be a little bit bigger of a problem than he probably thought he was. Because I ain't gonna lie, the Spot was mixing his ass up.
Hey man. So yeah, that's what happened. So convenience store. Miles gets distracted by the Spot. He's late. His family's sitting down, and the woman across from him that's trying to help him get into college is sitting there with both parents, no Miles, and she's like, "This is a piece of paper. I need your son's story, or else it has to fit on here, or else I don't know who he is." Because again, she has no idea who this random kid is, even though their parents are right in front of them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And like me being the movie lover that I am, I automatically I got it. I'm like, oh, it's supposed to like catch everybody up, because it's like, all right, so we'll make you remember why he's important and this is his story.
Yeah.
So Miles is fighting the Spot, unassuming villain at first, because he's just started out to this. He's trying to rob an ATM, and he doesn't really have a grasp on his powers yet, because he was a nerd before this. He never thought he would have to do this. This is like his last resort, is to rob the ATM in this like a random convenience store. So he's trying his best to be a villain. It ain't exactly working out. His powers he had no type of control. He don't know where he's sticking his hand. He grabbing soda cans instead of money. When he finally gets his hand on the money, he can't exactly pull it out. Not the strongest. So it's like, okay, all right, cool. Miles comes in and is like, he's on his phone because obviously he has somewhere to go, and he's making light of the Spot. And at first, you're just like, oh, haha, he's not really that big of a threat. Cool power, though.
Like, hey, I'm taking you seriously, I swear.
Yeah. So Miles is on his phone, whole fight. They're dashing around the city. He's flying through the holes, ending up in different places. And the Spot is like, you don't remember me? This is pretty important to me. Like, I'm your villain. We're connected. And you taking me so lightly.
Yeah, it's like you created me. You the reason why I'm like this.
Yeah. And so it ends up with, the first encounter ends up with Miles just webbing him up and saying, hey, don't escape. Hey, I gotta go do this thing. So then Miles he barely makes it there. he gets to his appointment with his parents, and the first thing she tries to do, the first thing he does is he cracks a joke. She's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. He's like, well, I'll just get 2 cakes. I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny. Whatever. She goes, oh, comedian. And so she writes it down. And then they start talking, and they're going over his grades and what's happening. And they notice that their son is like slipping up, but they don't know why, because they have no clue who he is.
Oh, wait, don't he got a B- in Spanish?
Yeah, he had a B- in Spanish. Mira, look at me. And so, yeah, they dogged him about that. And it's like, he's like, okay, can we just like hurry this along or whatever? And as Miles is getting more into it and is starting to like realize the situation, he gets a little bit more serious. He talks about what he actually wants to do, and he wants to make further advancements in science so that he can go into the multiverse. And that's something that he really took seriously, but it's a little bit further away than his mother or father would have liked. Well, than his mother would have liked, because it's not in New York. It was in like New Jersey or something, right?
Yeah, it was in New Jersey.
Yeah. And so his mom's like, there are good schools here. And he's like, no, I want to spread my wings and do my own thing. You know, the basic coming of age story for any teenager. You know, you go through your little rebellious phase.
Yep.
And the thing about this movie is it does it really well. Usually when people go through their rebellious phases, like in movies or TV shows, it's really annoying. It's like, oh, I'm so misunderstood. They don't understand me. But in this movie, they do a very good job of showing what it's like. And we'll talk about that later when we get to some later scenes.
He really didn't blame. It wasn't like he was blaming
them. It was like,
just kind of like, damn, I'm messing up.
Yeah. So, but he's doing the best he can. But it feels like you're right. He's messing up. So they doing the interview. And the teacher brings up, okay, so we got a struggling family, a struggling half immigrant, half black family, and you're just trying to make your ways. I'm like, the dad's like, struggling? I don't know about struggling, but but again, they're trying to get this story to fit on a little piece of paper. And I like that little separate commentary on what you got to do to like give up your individuality, kind of. It's kind of fit into a little box for college or society in general. And I think this whole movie also harps on that a little bit about doing your own thing and going your own way, which I again really liked.
It's a whole message about not letting people tell you how your life is supposed to go.
Yo, yeah.
No, you make your own decisions. You change it for yourself. You create your own path.
You do your own thing.
You can't have nobody else. Can't nobody else tell you how it's supposed to go. Only you can.
Right. So, get done with that part. Spot breaks out again. His father and Miles. Well, Miles then leaves the room. His father follows after him. Because the spot broke out. Miles is the first one to be aware of this, and his dad follows up. So Miles, he's out fighting the spot for the second time now. It's like, bro, why'd you escape? And he's chasing them all throughout the city, causing a lot of destruction. Because if you didn't notice, in the fight, the spot's holes, they leave these like burning marks wherever they go into and disappear. So they have the capability of doing damage as they're flying around the city. And this time it's pretty bad how much damage is occurring. And so Miles' father, the police, well, not captain yet, but the police officer is running after them, going through all the holes with them, trying to keep up. And again, Miles is belittling the spot. And this time, it's really starting to get on his nerves. And then they end up, through all this, like, flying through holes and funny little misadventures, they end up in the place where it all started, where we left off in the last movie, the reactor. And the spot, it kind of like switches for him. It's like, this is where it all happened. This is where you made me this, and I made you a superhero. And so he's angry. He's pissed. He's livid. He's like, you're not taking me seriously. I'm hideously deformed because of your actions. This is your fault. I made you better. You made me an abomination. I'm going to get my revenge. But as he's making this speech, he's kind of tripping and stumbling at them. and it shows you just a small glimpse of how big of a threat he could be. But of course, him being new with his powers or whatever, he trips and falls into his own spot, and it's the last one that he has. So he ends up in a different dimension, trapped. And so after this, Miles and his father are like, "Oh, well, I guess he defeated himself." And so they go up.
All right, GG's.
Exactly. And they leave him. Well, they don't leave him, but they don't know where he went. It's like, you're supposed to catch the bad guys, right? And whatever. So Miles is
I always do.
Yeah. So Miles is standing above the area before they fell down into where the reactor is with his father, but he's still in Spider-Man costume, and his father has no idea what's happening. Well, he has no idea that Spider-Man is Miles. So he starts talking to him, but like, "Hey, how's your son doing?" or whatever. And he explains the exact situation to Miles. I thought this was really cute. So at the broken down reactor facility, they had this big tarp, right, over like the wreckage, and it starts waving, kind of like a beach scene, because New York is a concrete jungle, but they made it look like it was a beautiful lake or something with the animation. I'm like, that's so dope. But so they start talking, and Miles is like, "You gotta let your son do his own thing and spread his wings like this." And he sticks his arms out because he wants a little bit of slack. And that's what he tries to tell his father indirectly through this third person personality that he has, of a second personality that he has. And his father starts to like understand that, which is cute. But anyway, so we get past that, and I think, what's the next event that happens? He goes to the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Miles' father is about to be police captain. And they're on top of the roof having this party, and Miles is supposed to be there at a certain time. And Miles again is out doing his Spider-Man thing, still having the two conflicting sides, trying to figure out, do I tell them, do I not, what's going on? So Miles is swinging around the city, fighting like some minor league villains here and there, doing whatever he got to do. And does Gwen show up yet?
At that party?
Yeah, at the party, because she shows up.
She shows up near the end.
Like after Miles gets the cakes or whatever, and he goes on top of the building. Does she show up there?
She showed up in between that.
She showed up in between that. In between him getting the cakes?
Because wasn't there was a second party, right? They was on the roof again.
Oh no, that was all one party. It was all one party.
Oh, that's what he went in his room. He went in his room. Gwen showed up.
No,
they swung around.
Yeah.
Came back.
What was that after? Oh yeah. So look, I got it now. Miles, he leaves out to get the cakes that he was told to get later, like earlier in the day. So he goes out, he gets them. He tries to write this big heartfelt apology on one cake, and he harkens back to the beginning of the of his intro, where it's like, if I don't have enough cake, I'll just get a second one. So like the lady tells him, there's too many words. Can you try like saying less? He's like, I'll just get a second cake. And so he puts all this stuff on it, and he's like, all right, this will fix my problem. And he's racing towards the party because it just started. And he's dragging the cake along with him. But as it is, superhero, supervillain shit, he has to fight some stray villains to get to the party. It's like, okay, whatever. He gets to the staircase. He's dragging the cake up. He's changing clothes. The music's really popping off. And he opens the door. Spidey says goes off. Somebody looking at me. I don't want to talk to my parents yet. I got to pretend like I was here the whole time. Lift the jacket up. Hit a nice little 360. It was kind of clean. Walks backwards. Puts both cakes on the table. And parents are behind him. Miles, where have you been? They on him. And in this scene, we start to it gets a little bit more intense. It's like, hey, this was really important to your father, and you missed his heartfelt speech saying that I do all of this for you, and this is really big for his father. And they let Miles know multiple times. And so Miles tries to show them the cake, like, look what I got you. And he shows the 2 cakes, further proving the point that you cannot have your cake and eat it too because the cakes are messed up, and it says "I don't care" or something like that on the cake.
It's something wild on there. Some wild message.
Yeah. So, and then as you would, get a little mad. And the parents start grilling Miles. Where have you been? What are you doing? What's happening with you? And he tries to explain, but he can't because he doesn't know how. And it gets to this like climax, and DJ's kind of like helping out by like covering them arguing with music, and he turns it all the way up. And it gets to this big crescendo where it's like, okay, if this is so big and so important, what do you have to do? What's going on? Tell us. And his dad yells over the entire crowd. It's too loud for the music to cover up. Everybody's stopping, looking at Miles. It's like, so what's going on? And he gets his moment to speak. He can say I'm Spider-Man, but he can't because all of these people are now paying attention
I was
to
about
him.
to say, why would he say with everybody looking at him?
Exactly. So he does the typical thing that you would do. It's like, whatever. He throw up his jacket and he walk off.
So he got grounded, didn't he?
Yeah, he got grounded, and then he threw up his jacket, walked off, and he ended up in his room. Now this is where we catch up fully. Then he started levitating in his room, and we got Gwen standing over him. It's like, yes, the part we've all been waiting for. We are fully caught up. It's time to get into it. So Gwen, first thing she says is, you're grounded, but is Spider-Man grounded? Harkening back to what he said when he first got sent to his room. He said, man, I'm grounded, but I'm Spider-Man. I can do whatever I want. True.
Hey, duty calls.
So they left, and he starts swinging around the city with Gwen. He hasn't seen her in a long time. She went through his sketchbook, saw the pictures, and she feeling him the same way he feeling her. So let's swing through the city, having a fantastic time, but she loses Miles. She ditches Miles for like a brief second because she's there to investigate the spot. So whatever power he has is such a big threat that it rang the alarm in the Spider-Verse. So she was sent there to deal with him before he became a bigger problem, which he wasn't. Because, all right, so we're gonna go back to the spy real quick. When he was in his own dimension, he found out he can go to other dimensions, what I thought was really cool. They had a nod to Venom in there with the lady at the counter who wasn't impressed by anything that was happening.
She ain't give a damn.
Not at all. And then we got to see the scene with the 14-year-old made for Lego Spider-Man, and that was dope.
I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know a 14-year-old made that.
Hey man, Unreal Engine and what was it? Not Resolve. What is it called? I forgot the name of the software. Blender. There we go.
The real question is, did they pay him?
Hey, yeah. Hey.
I said, all right, thanks.
Right.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, even have your names in the credit is still crazy. But so we get through that part. Miles is like looking for Gwen or whatever, and she's trying to find the spot. She finds where his little hideout is, and we now know that he's trying to find other reactors to get more spots, because now he has a better grip on what his powers can do, making him like a multiversal threat. So he goes from this weak little nerd who doesn't know what's going on with his powers to a legit multiversal threat. And so so she finds him. She puts a little spider bug next to the building or whatever and continues swinging around having a good time with Miles. They go back to the party. And here his parents, Miles' parents, are introduced to Gwen for the first time. And, you know, as they do, it's a girl around a little boy. They get a little defensive, especially the mother. She's like, don't take him from me. And so they start to like, okay, they calm down a little bit. They're not so much on him because they're starting to understand that, okay, it might be about a girl. It's not about the girl. It's about being Spider-Man. But it's like their little reprieve from that, or what they thought in their head is the problem. So Miles' mom then gives hold on, wait. So Gwen, after spending all that fantastic fun time with Miles and meeting the parents or whatever, has to leave because the camera that she put on Spot is reacting to something. So she has to like head out now to see what's going on. Miles then has to talk with his mother, explaining, well, not what's happening, but he gives a little bit more as to what's going on. His mom starts giving him this speech about fitting in. And I love that speech, man. That speech was fantastic, bro.
It was.
It was like, if anybody ever tells you you don't fit in, do me a favor and take care of that little boy that I took care of. I said, "Aww," and some people started crying around my theater.
Yeah, listen, I get it was a heartfelt moment. I don't know if you had to start crying because of it though. Because I remember before we saw the movie, you was like, "Hey, bro, don't cry."
Hey, man,
cry.
They were bawling, bro. It was a couple of points where they were bawling their eyes out. It was.
I was scared. I thought something bad was gonna happen. You talking about some don't cry? I thought something crazy was gonna happen.
Nah, it was just a very
me
emotional
too.
movie, and it got them choked up. But they was all in love. It was even the dude that was next to me with his girlfriend started crying, and then he's like, I saw the tears roll down his face. I'm like, I don't try to hide them.
Oh.
But yeah, so she gives that little heartfelt speech or whatever, and she says, "Go after her." And then here we get like the animation cranks up to a 10. We hear Annihilate going off. So the music is fire. He's swinging around the city and trying to find Gwen. He finds Gwen, goes invisible, and climbs into the building behind her. Now, she's in here, realizing she messed up. She messed up bad. Because Spot is gone. The building is blown up. Police are outside trying to figure out what's going on. And she gets a call from Spider-Woman saying, so what happened? I want updates. What did you do? Where did you go? Because she originally, the Spider-Woman did not want to send Gwen to where Miles is because she knew about their relationship. But she took a chance. She was like, okay, you can just do this and then you can go visit him whenever. Gwen fumbled bad. Spot is going, they're playing this recreation of what happened to the events, and he succeeded. He got more spots. So now she's like cutting off the phone or whatever, trying to like hurry up and hang up on Spider-Woman. But she calls back and says, hey, if you mess up, like if you don't fix this, I can't save you. Because Miguel didn't even want her there in the first place. So she gives her another shot. And Miles is listening on the conversation invisible the whole time. And so
It's crazy how they did want Spider-Man to help out though.
I mean, it makes sense because of what happened. I mean, alright, yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end. But it makes sense. So Gwen goes to the portal and ends up in Mumbai with Indian Spider-Man. I forget. Peter something. I can't remember it. But Miles has to make a decision. He goes through, he chases after. And that's the end of the introduction. And we start getting into Obi Brown and the whole gang, like the new gang that they introducing. So Miles chases after her. They end up in Mumbai. They introduce the new Spider-Man. He's like, oh man, no, this is so easy. And the red flag that immediately caught my attention was that line coming from that Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, he hasn't lost anything yet. Because Miles lost something. Who else? Gwen, well, pretty much everybody else lost something. After a Spider-Man loses something important to them, they stop saying it's easy.
Yeah. Then they realize, you know, it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
It gives the responsibility part yet.
Exactly. And for Miles, his responsibility part, every Spider-Man's responsibility part comes in when somebody first dies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, he hasn't lost anybody yet. So he's relatively new to these powers. I mean, he's only been doing it. Oh yeah, they say he's only been doing it for like 6 months. So I'm like, oh, it hasn't even been a year. Oh yeah, he's cooked. And then I continue to watch the movie, right? So they're swinging around trying to catch Spot, and Spot, He in his element. He found his purpose. He know what he finna do. He out here gliding and moving different, way more confident, challenging Miles head on 1v1 style.
Oh yeah,
Outshining him. Teleported behind. Miles getting mixed midair. He don't know what's happening. And Gwen is just kind of mad that Miles chased after her. But it's like and she says, "I never should have came to visit you." But whatever. She's like, we blow past that pretty quickly. She gets over that very quickly. So, and that's big for later on in the movie. They get to the facility, and Miles knows what he's trying to do. He's trying to find reactors to get more spots to become more powerful. So they get to the something Max facility, I forgot. And there, Spot again, he dog walking everybody around him. It's no contest at this point. He's used to his powers. His powers are great. They get to the facility, and Spot starts teleporting all these people, all these scientists out the room. And as he lifts up the shield and he's walking towards the reactor, and he's giving this monologue about, you didn't take me seriously. And since you didn't take me seriously, I'm gonna show you how serious of a threat I can be. And so he starts the reactor. They're trying to stop him. Miles is like, wait, hold on, I can do something here. I've been practicing. And he tries to use his not symbiote powers. They call him Venom. They call it Venom powers in the Spider-Man game, so that's what I'm gonna call it here. He tries to use his Venom powers to absorb the energy from the wall that's stopping them from getting the Spot. And it's not working. And the other two Spider-Man, Gwen and Peter, they're dogging him. They're dogging him because, like, what are you doing? How long
what are you doing?
He said, I'm absorbing the energy so I can send it back. And it's not working. It's going pretty slow. And then in comes Hobie Brown. Bro just kicks straight through with an incredible entrance. And then we get his backstory. Now look, I didn't know Hobie was gonna be the fan favorite, because up to this point, all we've been hearing about Hobie is that Gwen has been spending time with him in his universe. Yeah. that's
I ain't gonna lie, I know Miles when he took that mask off, the Miles seen that he was black. He said, "Hold on, wait."
But before we even got to that, all we heard of Hobie up to this point is just how cool he was and what he was doing with Gwen, and Gwen was trying to speed past it with the other Spider-Man. It was like, oh, so you don't know about Hobie. So it builds up, and we finally get to see him, Hobie, and he's just as cool as, well, he's cooler than what you thought. You thought he was like a competition for the love interest, but really he's just a cool dude. Like, so he kicks through, and they start chasing Spot. And Spot at this point has reacted at full power, and he's flying to it. Miles and all the other Spider-Men make a little line, and they're holding him, and Hobie's like, and not Hobie, and then Miles like, I'm telling you, you're not a joke to me. It's okay. And then Hobie's like, I don't believe in comedy, or it's something like that. His joke was hilarious in the movie, but Spot ain't having it. He's like, it's too late. I've already committed myself to doing this. This is what's going to happen. And then we get this fantastic scene. This is probably one of the best villain scenes I've ever seen. So Spot cuts the web holding him, and he gets into the reactor. And it's at this point that they realize they cannot stop this monstrosity. They don't know what to do or how to go about stopping him now. The screen turns black. His body turns almost completely black. He no longer has a white with black spots. It's black with white spots on him. That's how much little real estate is left on his body. And he gives this scary monologue to Miles. I'm like, hey, yo, I felt that. And he tells him, I'm gonna take everything from you, like how you took everything from me, and get my revenge.
What did I do? What did I do?
And then he teleports off. And it's up to, and the whole like building starts crashing down. Miles has these flashbacks of not flashbacks, but I guess flashes of the future of what's going to happen. and it's of Spot killing his dad inadvertently in the way that we'll get into that later. So now we're at the part where they're trying to save the building that's falling, right? So the research facility is falling off this cliff. Everything is crazy. They're trying to save all these people, and they're doing a good job. We get to see the Spider-Man work together. It's a really cool scene. And they try to stall the fallen building. They working together really well. They get to the bridge, and the bridge is where they introduce canon events. Now, as comic book people that we are, we understand that what canon is. It's things that are supposed to happen, things that make a character, like Superman. Superman is only Superman because he's an alien that came to Earth that was raised like a human. It has to be those events in order for it to be Superman. Without those events, he's not Superman. That's a completely different story. So, what happens is, or what's supposed to happen, is that the Peter Parker of this universe, the Indian one, is supposed to lose the captain when he tries to save the girl from the bridge. And Gwen tries to stop Miles from going because she got the message about the canon event. And then Miles like, nah, I got it. Because he thinks that she's worried for his safety. When it's really, I don't want you to mess this up further. Or it could be a little bit of both. Either way. So Miles goes through, he swings through, and the Peter of this universe is struggling between this bus with his girlfriend on it and save the police captain that's still on the bridge. And he thinks he can do both. And this is the part where Spider-Man is supposed to learn that you have to make sacrifices. You cannot have both. Mm-hmm. But since Miles is here, it's different. So Miles swings through, he grabs the police captain, he makes it out. With police captain and the little girl. Not supposed to happen. The police captain is supposed to die saving the little girl. But he makes it through and saves both. So he's now disrupted the canon of this Spider-Man story to such a degree that, and I kind of got my own questions about this, a black hole appears in the middle of their universe and it starts expanding. And then here is where we get further introduced to the Spider Society. So they have scientists, they come in, they start putting down these little pikes to try to contain the situation. And Spider-Woman explains, like, y'all gotta come back. Like, when you messed up real bad. Like, this is even worse than you just letting the Spot go. Now we got a potential universe on the verge of collapse because of this. Because you interrupted a canon event. So they go back to, and Miles is hype about this. Hobie not so much because he understands what this is, and everybody has this hidden knowledge of Miles that Miles doesn't know about. So they head back to the Spider Society, right? And so here, Miles has his fangirl moment. Oh my God, there's so many Spider-Men. They're all just like me, which is cute. But yeah, we're introduced to all the Spider-Man across all of the universes, all the multiverses, and they give Miles this little day pass so that he doesn't glitch out in different universes. Or, well, he doesn't glitch out while he's, traveling around the multiverse or whatever. And we meet Miguel, Peter B. Parker, and we get to learn a little bit more about Hobie. So the main thing about this is, Spider Bite, the girl sitting at the desk. The main plot point of this section is for them to tell Miles, hey, look, you can't have it both. Like, some things are just destined to happen and you can't stop them. And Miles doesn't take too kindly to, well, hold on, wait, before we even go that far. They meet with Miguel, and on the walk to meeting Miguel, Hobie tries to convince Miles, hey, you don't want to be here. This isn't as cool as you think it is. You probably got a nice little family at home, in your universe where you belong. Like, go back. Go be with them. You can make your own interdimensional travel. You don't have to be here to do it. And Miles isn't hearing it because he's so enamored with how this facility is and all these spider people. And you gotta remember, he was left alone. This is still like, what, a little bit over a year into his journey?
Yeah.
So he's been Spider-Man by himself, and he want a little bit of companionship. He hasn't seen his friends in a while, blah, blah, blah. So they finally meet up with Miguel, and Miguel isn't having any of it from anybody. He's not happy to see Miles. He's not happy to hear about anything that's going on. And he explains, I've been the only person keeping it together. That is true. They did shatter a universe. And he started, hey, I ain't gonna fake it to you. I feel like Miles got a little bit worse because of what Tom Holland did in this universe. But
Oh, yeah.
so he starts explaining to them like, hey, I've been keeping this together. I've been doing what I can to keep this whole thing afloat. And so this is when they introduced the idea of canon events to Miles. It's like, hey, we all have these tragic backstories. Like, he lost Uncle Ben, or a lot of us lost Uncle Ben, or some relative close to us. And they show this like big web of everything that's supposed to happen. And they explain to Miles what happens if these events don't meet how they should. And it's like that universe gets erased pretty much. And then Miguel starts telling Miles about, hey, I tried to be in a different universe. It didn't work. It's something that was some way or another, the whole universe ended up collapsing because I was there trying to fill in for another Miguel. I'm like, that's kind of sad. I feel for bro now, right? But not to that extent. Miles was like, hey, yo, y'all want me to sit back and let my dad die?
Yeah, it wasn't even the dad thing yet. He was still stuck off the fact that you really won't be. He like, bro, if somebody needs to be saved and I'm there, I'm not finna just let them die.
Yeah.
He's like, I ain't just finna sit back and watch it happen. He's like, I'm finna save him and deal whatever the consequences is later. We're gonna deal with that.
You know what? They say, you know what? You're right. That's why you're staying right here.
And so then Miguel throws this little spider trap under his feet that he threw at Gwen's father. So he's trapped inside of this bubble, and everybody around him is arguing, and they're trying to figure out what's the best way to handle this. And then Hobie, the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend himself, goes up to Miles. He's like, hey, use the palm of your hands, not just the fingertips when absorbing energy. And so then Miles places his hands kind of over Hobie's, and he starts to focus. And he breaks the bubble. He does the thing where he absorbs the energy and then shoots it back out. And it's like, oh, I'm free now. And so then he takes off, and we got the big chase, and everything's going on. And Hobie's like, all right, peace, I quit. And he throws down his gauntlet and teleports away. So basically, he was just there to instigate for Miles, which we love to see. We love to see a good instigator.
It's it's 29.9 said, everybody chase Spider-Man. Hobie was like, nah, I quit. All right, bye.
So now we get this big scene, the big chase scene. Y'all know what goes on. And so, again, that animation's stunning. We get to see all this cool animation and stuff happening. And then the next major thing that happens is Miles gets a little bit of a reprieve. He gets snatched out of the air by Peter B. Parker, the one in the little robe. And he starts explaining to Miles, I had my kid because of you. I wanted my child to be just like you. After I met you, it made me want to have, a child like you. Like, because Miles is a fantastic kid and is a he's just a fantastic kid. So he gives this speech to Miles, and Miles is like, oh, that's cute. I gotta go. Like, we can't talk this out. You see all these spider people chasing me. We not finna just sit down and have a nice conversation. And then at that point, Peter's watch goes off. It's like, oh, we got the location of Spider-Man. It's like, no, you don't. And so I don't think Miles had the feeling of Peter betrayed him, but it was just a bad.
It was like, really, dude?
Yeah, it was just bad timing. So then Miles jumps down this big tube, and he's flying all over the city, and the chase scene starts up again. The next major event that happens is they're on the subway, and Miguel is furious. He just angry. He chasing them down. He yelling top of his lungs, and he's telling Miles, "You're not supposed to be here. This is all your fault." And this is where we find out that Miles got his spider on accident, which I really like, because it's not his spider. He shouldn't be Miles Morales. His spider came from Earth 42. That Miles should have been bitten. So what happens is Miguel starts explaining, "You're not, like his mom said, you're not supposed to be here. You don't belong. You should have never come here. You shouldn't even exist. You shouldn't know that we exist." And he's on him. And the other spider people, Gwen, Peter B, who else? The Japanese Spider Woman, and they're hearing all this, like, this isn't what we agreed upon. This isn't how we were gonna tell them. And I was like, "Oh, you knew? When did you know? Is that why you didn't come visit me? Because I'm the original anomaly?" And it's like, seeing my boy get hurt, man, it was pretty bad, bro. So then what Miles does is he does the same thing. He's just, the same trick he just learned. Sticks his hand on 2099's shoulder, absorbs the energy, says, "I'm gonna do my own thing." Blast him off. And up until this point, nobody thought that Miles had a plan. But his plan was to lure all the spider people away so that he could jump off of a high point and get back to the building before them without being noticed. So he jumps off the train and goes invisible and ends up back in the facility where the teleporter is. At this point, it's just back-to-back action. It's just hype. Everybody happy. Fantastic movie, bro. So we get to the facility, and Miles is invisible, and Spider Bite's there, the black spider girl behind, like, in charge of all the tech in the facility, or all the tech in that area. And he's turning on things, and she doesn't know what's happening because she's never had anything turn on by itself before. So she's thinking it's a system error, and she's looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And Miles sticks his face into the retina scanner to go back to his universe because it works off of DNA. He gets back in the teleporter, and while they're trying to figure that out, she notices him in there, but it's too late. Well, no, she doesn't notice. Miguel runs into the room, says, "Stop him," because he knows where he is. And he starts clawing and ripping away at the teleporter. And all the other Spider-Man come in. And it's just this moment of, like, you see Miles scared and about to make it out. And so Spider-Bite has everything set up to stop him from leaving, but she doesn't do it. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting for, like, a couple of reasons, because your boss just told you to catch him, but I think she's still on the same wave of, that's not right. And nobody really knows they're putting the universe at risk. It's just, they just assume so. Like, my thoughts on if the universe explodes or whatever after a canon event fails, it's all been based off of Spot, pretty much. Because the original teleporter, like, well, let me just finish going through this and then we'll circle back to this. So Miles teleports back home, and so he teleports back home, and the other Spider-Men are chasing him. Well, hold on. So Miles teleports back home. They have this moment with Gwen Stacy and 2099. 2099 is furious. You let him go. I didn't let him go. She tried to catch him, but Miles broke the rope that was connected. Because, I'm trying to go save his father. And they start, like, he's in her face yelling at her. And this is where she looks over at Spider-Woman to try to get, like, some type of confirmation. Because this is her mother figure. It's like, help me, like, protect me. I need help right now. And she just looks away. It's like, I told you I couldn't help you if you didn't fix the issue. And it was the really dramatic moment where it's like, I thought I could trust in you, and even you let me down. So that was that. She gets sent back home to where her father hasn't exactly been eating right or living right, looking for her. Couldn't find her because obviously she's in a different dimension. But yeah, end up back home. She runs into her dad. They have this emotional moment together about what's going on and all the things that she's had to face in like I think it's like 3 months that she's been gone. Like, this movie takes place in a surprisingly short amount of time. It's only like a couple of months, but everything kind of happens in around a day, maybe 2. I think
it's like 2 days.
Yeah, because
well, actually, is it the same day?
You know what? No, I think it is, because Spot was like, not Spot.
If Miles was gone for more than a day, his parents would have been like, "Whoa,
what
happened?" I think he just left.
Yeah.
And then it was just later that day.
Yeah. So everything that happens in this movie happens in the place of 24 hours. Because was it 2099 that said that it happens in 3 days, or was it Spot? No, it was 2099 that said.
2099.
Yeah. So Miles' dad dies in like 3 days, or is supposed to die in like 3 days. So Gwen gets back home and she's like, it's a surprisingly short amount of time now I'm thinking about it. But Gwen gets back home and has a heartfelt moment with her dad. Her dad then admits that, hey, I gave it up. I couldn't be a police officer anymore. I done did my child wrong. I couldn't do what I needed to do. So they have that emotional moment, and that's also the second part where people started crying. Right there. Dude again tried to hide the little tears. You feel me? I'm like, nah, go ahead, let it out. But yeah, super emotional moment. And then they talk about Hobie. So what Hobie was doing while he was talking to Miles and taking like random parts away from things is he was building a watch. Now I didn't get this on my first watch through, but on the second time I saw it, I was like, oh, he was taking parts to build a dimensional watch like how they had. And he used it to give it to Gwen's father. Like, just in case they sent her back home. Which they did. And so now she uses the watch to go and kind of recruit others. While Miles is in a different dimension while he's back home. So she goes off and then she starts rebuilding the group to go help out Miles. So Miles is now in his universe and he's talking to his mom and he says, he basically says, you were right all along. And she's like, yeah, of course I'm right. You know, typical mom stuff. And he gives her this whole speech and then says, I'm Spider-Man. And she's unfazed. And I'm like, okay, well, this is just the part of the movie where it's like, whatever. And she's like just so shocked that she can't believe it. And then he tries to explain further. Like, no, I'm like superhero, swings around, stops crime. She doesn't know. And at this point, I'm starting to like put it together from not my first watch through. Like when I first was at the movie theater myself for the first time, I'm like, oh no, he's in the wrong place. And they explain that Miles is in the wrong universe. I said, bro, no. And so after his mom leaves the room and he walks out, his uncle comes in. And that's when he has the realization, I'm in the wrong universe. Because it works off of DNA. And the DNA that he has is from 42. Because that's the spider that bit him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this wave of uncomfortable energy. Because the first thing that his uncle says is, oh, you took your hair down. Like, that's odd. And if you know, like from the last movie, he's the Prowler. And so he's smart. he understands what's going on, but you kind of like think that he doesn't. So Miles is kind of like trippy. He's out of place. He hugs him and is like, "I miss you so much." He's like, "Oh no, these some red flags. You not my Miles." They get up to the roof, and it's this big dramatic scene. Like he was just making stuff up to get Miles, like, you know, to follow him up to the roof. And Miles is looking around, and it's a destroyed and decimated. He's like, "Oh yeah, this universe doesn't have a Spider-Man." That's what Miguel was telling him. There's a universe without a Spider-Man because of you. It's not really his fault, but whatever.
I'm about to say it really control over there.
Like whatever, bro. So decimated city, and then we get this scene where his uncle is looking at his phone, and he give him the side eye, like, I don't know who this little black boy is, and then Miles gets knocked out. By far one of my favorite parts of the movie. He wakes up. Miles wakes up, and it's just like the first movie when he found Peter B. Parker, and he tied him to the punching bag. He starts playing the music, spins him around, and it harkens back to the first film.
I forgot that happened in the first film.
Yeah, I forgot until I watched it the second time. I'm like, oh yeah. So he's spinning around. He's trying to explain that his uncle was going on and that he knows he's the Prowler, but you want to do good and you want to do right. And his uncle's just sitting there listening. He puts on the glove, and then he punches, and you see this big splatter come out. But you think they subvert your expectation. You thought he hit Miles, but he hit the punching bag, and now the sand's falling out or whatever. And so he takes off the glove. He's like, I'm not the Prowler. And he tosses it. And it's a shadowy figure. And he catches it. He put the Prowler glove back on. Mask opens. It's Miles. Miles is this universe's Prowler. And the first thing I thought of is, I'm like, oh, so the original thing that's supposed to happen, or was supposed to happen in our Miles' universe, is that he didn't get bit. He loses his father and becomes the Prowler, and he fights our universe's Spider-Man. But instead, when the Spot was messing with the collider, and they teleported the Spider in and it escaped, it was this universe's Miles. So he never got to become Spider-Man, and they lost their Spider-Man how they were supposed to. And I'm like, okay, so now it's all making sense. So all the 42 references from the first movie, and then the way that Spider-Man died in the first movie is because Miles had powers and he was thrown off. That's the only reason that Peter Parker died, is because Miles had powers and he just wasn't in the right mental space. I'm like, man.
Hey, so why did blonde Spider-Man die?
Why did what Spider-Man die?
Like the blonde Spider-Man?
Oh,
that part never really made sense to me.
He died because he was caught off guard that Miles was also a spider person. Like, because, it's supposed to be just him, but it's not anymore.
Oh, okay.
So he was the original event, and that's why everybody started to get sucked into his universe, into Miles' universe. Yeah, it was a butterfly effect. So about
also, you want to know something interesting about that?
What's that?
Real quick, look up Miles meeting Peter B. Parker. Not that one. That's the other one, the one that died.
Oh, hold on. Across the Spider-Verse, Miles meets. No, it's not Peter B. Parker.
Oh no, it's Peter Parker. Yeah, that's what it is. It's Peter Parker.
Oops. Miles meets Peter Parker. Here it is.
And go to the moment they look at each other.
Oh yeah, another thing that happens is the Earth 42 spider glitches, like how it's not supposed to be in the right dimension. Oh, you
Go
talking
back.
about this moment?
You look at the colors around Miles'
Oh,
head.
shit. Yeah. So that's another thing that happens. For anybody listening to the audio version, Miles' original colors are purple and green like the Prowlers, but after he meets his universe's Spider-Man, after he's bitten, it changes over to blue and red like Spider-Man's. So yeah, that was.
I said they was thinking ahead with that one.
Hey man, they was thinking ahead.
way ahead with that one.
So now all these subtle little hints make sense when I just thought they were like a stylized choice, like the spider glitching, Peter meeting him and like his colors changing. It's just, yeah. But what was I saying?
That was clean. I saw that on Twitter and I was like, holy crap.
That's my favorite
That is
realization. I love when any storytelling medium does stuff like that, when they harken back to something and it all makes sense. Stuff that you just completely glossed over the first time.
That's One Piece, ain't it?
Hey man. But yeah, bro. So now we got Prowler Spider-Man. The Prowler Miles and then Spider-Man Miles in the same universe, tied up. And we got Gwen and all the gang from the first movie and the newly introduced helpers in this movie. It's a lot, bro. This is a lot going on, and I'm really excited for that next movie.
Time for the war arc.
Hey, on me, time for the war arc, bro. The next movie finna just be nothing but action. Now the only gripe about this movie is it ends on a crazy cliffhanger.
It is like when we saw the movie. Actually, cut that out. You know what?
Hey.
When I saw the movie,
Uh-huh.
when I saw the movie, I was like, this seemed like this wrapping up, and I was like, the problem ain't nowhere near resolved, bro. We at the hour. We at the 2 hour mark, bro. You for to wrap this up in 15 minutes?
Hey man, and I'm sitting there ready for more. Ready for more. I could have, I'm gonna be honest with you, just like with the Justice League movie that we watched, bro, I could have sat there and watched it. I could have sat there for like 4 hours and watched that movie.
I said when these movies come out on DVD, because I got the first one on DVD, I'm obviously finna get this one.
Right.
I'm finna watch Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse back to back.
Hey man. Hey, watch party at my house. But
Hey, I'm down.
But yeah, bro, it's just the parallels are crazy. Oh, I forgot. So yeah, Gwen realizes that Miles is in the wrong universe, and she talks to his parents like, he loves you very much. And I'm like, I kind of felt like I was a little disheartened by that, because like God darn it, Miles didn't get it off his chest that he was Spider-Man to his people, and so they don't know. But I'm guessing
it was her fault, kinda.
Yeah, but we'll
say, hey, that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you gotta remember though, she was burned. She couldn't have known.
Yeah, I know.
But it was a little bittersweet. But I'm guessing in the next movie he just gonna cause he already did the whole big thing, making a fuss about it to not his mom, who we thought he was his mom. So he should just yeah, I'm Spider-Man, and then just keep going.
Yeah, because we know that he's ready to do it now.
Yeah.
So,
but that was huge, bro. I'm so excited for this next movie. I'm so excited for this next movie.
I'm just glad it's coming out next year. We ain't gotta wait another 4 years.
Hey, March 24th, my boy. March 24th. That's the original release date that they had up on their website, on their Twitter, everywhere. So hey, look, I'm golden. We'll see how this writer's strike goes, though. Even though the movie is done, they still took the release date off.
give me my movie back.
Hey man, quit playing with me. Quit playing with me.
We making these goddamn God tier stories. Give us more money.
Hey man, But how hey, and what they've done for animation, it's no longer just like the Pixar animation and the hand drawn. They done leveled this game up some crazy.
When you seen after the first Spider-Verse movie came out, other movies started like
Copy it.
doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What was that movie? Bad Guys. That was kind of in that style. It was another one. What was the Ninja Turtles movie coming out?
Mm-hmm.
They all kind of doing it. What was it called? Mitchell's versus the Machines, but that was Sony as well. So
Yeah.
that they just did that with that.
I'm hyped.
Hey.
I'm hyped, bro. And then we got there's a whole lot of Spider-Man going on, bro. We getting the new Spider-Man game too, bro.
Woo!
a lot of Miles love going around these parts. You know, we love a black superhero.
Wait, so we know that Spider-Man from the games is in this. When Miles from the game will come help his boy out?
Hey, they can't. Now look, they did show the game, the new game coming out in the room when his friend was playing Spider-Man.
That also tripped me out too, cause that's Spider-Man from the game.
Yeah.
But he's also playing the game. In there, so I was like,
So
what?
Yeah, nah, it's a
Why do
little
they have a
trippy.
Spider-Man game based off of Spider-Man from another universe?
Hey, I'm gonna just assume that they don't got Miles. Well, nah, you gotta remember there was a brief period in time where Miles and Peter were out together.
Yeah.
So
Also, I think the thing in the original comic books was that, like when Miles first got introduced, it's like how the first movie is. Like Peter dies and he becomes Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah. So
It's him instead of Peter in that universe.
oh yeah, also Miles did do a bunch of brand deals and stuff, so I guess it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a little trippy, but nah, if Miles meet the other Miles, bro, that'd be hype. That'd be hype in the next movie. Let's be honest. Like, let's keep it a buck, bro. Let's keep it all the way a buck, man. Come on. I'd be hyped to see both Miles on screen.
That would be cool. You got the, I don't know. You got this Miles, then you got that dirty ass dude from the game. 'Cause you know Miles from the game. He a nerd, bro.
Yeah. But hey.
Man, we hype.
We
I'm ready.
hype, bro.
And that Miles knows sign language. Let's go.
That is true. That dude, hey,
Oh my god.
hey, he do no sign language. He cold with it too, boy.
Oh, the best part.
All right, so rating this movie, what y'all giving it out of 10, man? Let's start with Court.
I honestly would give this movie like a 9.5.
Yes, sir.
Literally 9.5. Now, do I like it more than the first movie?
I do. I do. I really do.
The first soundtrack was better than this.
No, 100% the first soundtrack was better. But Annihilate go hard. Annihilate, Silk and Cologne. We got some bangers. We got some bangers off the new one.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
At this point, I don't know, because I think at this point the first movie just nostalgic to me. Because I've seen the first movie,
yeah,
so many times.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. But hey, we'll see. I feel like my thought process will be complete because it left on a cliffhanger. My thought process will be complete
when you see the rest of it.
Yeah, once the story is complete. Because I'm gonna consider this movie and the next one big story.
Bro, that's
like technically all three is one big story technically. But the first movie had like a conclusion to it. Where honestly, the first movie could have been it. That could have been the only movie.
I think they was just testing out with the first movie.
Yeah.
That was their test run.
Okay, they said this, people will consider this literally the best Spider-Man movie made.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep this going.
Dude, I love the first one, bro. I said it with the last episode. When Prowler showed that he was Uncle Aaron, I got up. I said, oh my god. They really didn't have to do me like that.
Oh yeah, if you don't know nothing about Miles lore, bro, that shakes you up. You like, holy crap.
But,
that was good.
I'm hyped.
And I really liked how, like, they had all different like styles in that movie because it really showed you like, hey, this is like completely different universe. They had live action people in there too, and and they even said like the chase scene took like 4 years to make. So
shout out to Donald Glover.
That's crazy. I mean, oh yeah, Donald Glover, man.
That was the man. Donald Glover, hey, that's the butterfly effect for real. So I don't know if y'all know the story behind Donald Glover and being Miles Morales, but what happened is a long time ago. Not that long ago, but when we were like teens or whatever, he voice acted Miles Morales during like one of his first appearances, and people were like, "Hey, yo, you should do it in a live action movie too." And so everybody was like, "Yeah, Donald Glover for Miles Morales," and a lot of people were into it. They're like, "No, he can't be black. Leave our Spider-Man alone."
Oh,
and so he started pushing for it more. And then we got him in what was it? Not Far From Home.
Homecoming?
Yeah, we got him in Homecoming as Uncle Aaron. And I'm like, all right, that's dope. And then we see him again in this movie as the Prowler from that same universe. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So that means that, he's in that universe too, bro. I'm hyped. I'm just big dubs, bro. Just big dubs. And I feel like with so many bangers, especially centered around Miles, there's a real possibility that he becomes one of the Spider-Man, bro. Because it's been nothing but back-to-back hits, especially since we were, like, I say for the newer generation, like the generation directly behind us, they've just seen Miles' face everywhere. 100%. There's a very real chance.
Miles is relatively kind of new to us. Like, I don't know, the first however many years of my life, it wasn't nothing but Peter. I didn't even know about all these other goddamn Spider-Man.
But now, I don't know. They got the sweat. No, what did bro say, dude? What did
exaggerated swagger of a black team?
Shout out Miles. Shout out Black Excellence. We love to see it. But yeah, man. I think that'll do it, fellas. Anybody got any closing thoughts? Anything they want to get off their chest?
In another universe, I was cast as Miles Morales in the live action movie.
Hey man, would have loved to see it.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I look a little too old now. I feel like I could have pulled it off when I was younger.
Okay. Hey, 100%. 100%. Hey man.
I wonder how that variant doing.
Hey, Simple, you got any closing statements for the people? Anything you want to get off your chest?
I didn't even really think too much about Gwen's line saying like, "Hey," in all the universes, like, Gwen falls for Peter Parker, and then in every other universe that don't end well. Yeah. I'd be forgetting she straight be dying.
Hey man, she do be getting packed.
Either she becomes Spider-Gwen or she dies. They're the two options.
But come on, she said Spider-Man. I was trying to remember back. I'm like, come on, bro. But that's Miles, so like he be putting it on for real. And I do think they're gonna end up together because she specifically like. Cause he's the anomaly, so we'll see, man. We'll see. He the OG anomaly.
I really hope they don't punk out and be like, oh yeah, we're good friends now. I hope they don't punk out.
I hope they don't punk out. I hope they don't punk out, bro. But
if they punk out, I'm gonna be like, oh, here we go again with this shit, bro.
Hey man,
I'm like, is it cause he's black?
Please don't punk, bro. Please don't punk out. We ain't come this hard for y'all to punk fake that hard. Come on now. Y'all done started it. Y'all gotta finish it. Y'all done started. And I'm gonna come back to this review. Y'all done started it. Y'all gotta finish it.
But I think I remember. I think Kenny told me that Miles gets with Gwen Stacy in the comic book. So,
hey, they better not punk fake me on this. How many years have we been into this, bro?
Hey. But that's what Kitty told me. So hopefully they don't punk out.
Yeah. But I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. I want to thank y'all for rocking with us here on this short little episode of Curry Speech. It wasn't even supposed to go down like this, but we ended up doing the whole movie review, dog. We appreciate y'all for coming out. This has been a great time, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
And Beyond the Spider-Verse.
This dude.